Last night, the internet lit up with whispers that turned into one of the loudest conversations we've seen in months. Rumors are swirling that Sierra has somehow been caught in the crosshairs of a shocking situation involving Mendeecees, and, if that wasn't enough, Karlie is the one fanning the flames with what she's calling undeniable proof. We're not saying this is fact, but the sheer volume of chatter online has fans stunned, debating whether this is betrayal, manipulation, or something even bigger. Picture it. Sierra, a woman who has worked hard to rebuild her reputation, suddenly targeted in a storm that no one saw coming. Mendeecees, whose past is no stranger to controversy, is now being painted as the center of yet another explosive scandal. And then there's Karlie, never one to shy away from dropping a bombshell, stepping forward with alleged receipts that have social media in a frenzy. Is this the truth being dragged out into the open? Or just another twist in a never-ending saga of reality TV drama? Fans are divided, emotions are running high, and the story is only just beginning to unfold. As soon as the whispers began, fans could feel that this wasn't going to be just another small rumor floating around. This time, the noise was louder, the claims bolder, and the reactions far more intense than anyone had anticipated. People started asking, why Sierra, and why now? She had been working on rebuilding her image, keeping her circle tight, focusing on her projects. But suddenly, it seemed like she had become the center of a carefully orchestrated storm, and at the very core of that storm was Mendeecees, a man whose name often brings more questions than answers. The story gained traction when clips began circulating on social media. Nothing too explicit, just suggestive enough to spark suspicion. A blurry photo here, a late-night screenshot there, and suddenly the internet was convinced something major was happening behind the scenes. People began piecing together timelines, pointing to moments when Sierra and Mendeecees were spotted at the same events, or when they mysteriously disappeared from group settings at the same time. Whether coincidence or conspiracy, the buzz was impossible to ignore. But what really sent shockwaves through the community was Karlie stepping in with her own claims, never one to stay silent when drama unfolds. She took to her platform and dropped a cryptic message that instantly set social media on fire. She wrote, "Sometimes the truth hurts, but lies hurt worse. And I've got the truth." Within minutes, fans flooded the comments demanding answers. Was she hinting at Sierra? Was she aiming at Mendeecees? Or was this just another one of her attention-grabbing tactics? The speculation escalated when Karlie hinted she had receipts. That word alone is enough to send viewers into a frenzy. Receipts mean evidence. Receipts mean screenshots, recordings, photos, things that can't be easily denied. For fans who thrive on drama, this was gold. One user tweeted, "If Karlie's got receipts, it's about to get messy," while another warned, "Receipts can make or break someone's entire career." For Sierra, the timing couldn't have been worse. She was in the middle of working on a new project that she hoped would put her in a positive light, but instead of trending for her accomplishments, she was trending for all the wrong reasons. Her fans rushed to her defense, insisting that she was being targeted unfairly. "Sierra's been through enough. Leave her alone," one supporter wrote. But just as many others were ready to believe the worst, claiming that where there's smoke, there's fire. Mendeecees' name being dragged into the mix only made things more complicated. His history already painted him as a man surrounded by rumors and speculation, and this new storyline seemed to fit the narrative too neatly. People began questioning his loyalty, his character, and even his intentions. Was he setting Sierra up? Was he being used as a pawn? Or was he simply caught in the middle of something that had spiraled out of control? What made this situation particularly explosive was the way emotions played out publicly. At a recent gathering, cameras caught what looked like a tense exchange between Sierra and Mendeecees. Their body language told a story of frustration, with Sierra visibly upset, shaking her head, while Mendeecees tried to downplay the situation with dismissive gestures. No words were clearly captured, but fans didn't need audio to create their own interpretations. "You can see the pain in her eyes," one viewer commented, while another insisted, "He doesn't care. He's brushing it off like it's nothing." Adding fuel to the fire, Karlie appeared on a live session where she subtly hinted that she had been warning people about this all along. With a smirk, she told viewers, "I don't speak unless I know what I'm talking about. When the truth comes out, don't say I didn't try to tell y'all." The live ended abruptly after a flood of questions, leaving her audience both frustrated and desperate for more. The tension wasn't just confined to social media or live appearances. It was seeping into personal relationships too. Insiders whispered that Ciara had confronted a close friend, accusing them of leaking private information. "You think I don't know who's talking?" she reportedly said, her voice shaking with anger. The friend denied it, but the damage was done. Mistrust was spreading like wildfire, and Ciara was beginning to feel isolated. For fans, every new piece of information felt like a puzzle piece being added to a picture that was still incomplete. One moment, it looked like Ciara was the victim, targeted and manipulated, and the next it looked like she might have been playing a role in the mess all along. The constant back and forth left everyone dizzy, but also hooked. Drama thrives on uncertainty, and this situation delivered it in abundance. Meanwhile, producers behind the scenes were reportedly thrilled. Ratings soared every time a new rumor surfaced, and the storyline practically wrote itself. But even they had to tread carefully. Pushing too hard could break relationships beyond repair, and not pushing enough risked losing the audience's attention. It was a delicate balance, one that required letting just enough chaos spill out to keep viewers invested. As the days passed, one thing became undeniable. The situation was escalating, not calming down. Every time Ciara tried to defend herself, a new accusation popped up. Every time Mendeecees stayed silent, people assumed guilt. And every time Karlie teased her so-called truth, the anticipation grew unbearable. It was a cycle with no clear end, and fans couldn't look away. And then came the moment that shifted everything. Karlie posted what appeared to be a screenshot, blurred just enough to avoid revealing too much, but clear enough to suggest a private exchange between Ciara and Mendeecees. She didn't say outright what it meant, but her caption read, "This is just the beginning." Within minutes, the post was everywhere, with fans analyzing every detail. Was it authentic? Was it staged? Or was it a clever ploy to keep her name in the headlines? Whatever the case, the damage was done. Questions turned into accusations turned into heated debates, and soon the entire community was divided into camps. Team Ciara, Team Mendeecees, and Team Karlie were battling it out online, each convinced they had the truth on their side. Emotions ran high, friendships among fans broke apart, and the drama took on a life of its own. But just when it felt like the storm couldn't grow any bigger, another wave of rumors began to rise, hinting that the screenshots were only a small piece of a much larger puzzle. The blurred screenshot had fans spiraling, dissecting every pixel as if the smallest detail could unlock the entire mystery. Some claimed the background matched a location Ciara had recently visited, while others swore the writing style in the messages looked nothing like hers. Still, the caption, "This is just the beginning," was enough to keep everyone glued to their screens. It was the kind of tease that fueled endless speculation, and that was exactly what Karlie seemed to want. Ciara's reaction was immediate but carefully worded. She went live, her face tense but composed, insisting that she was tired of being the target of false narratives. "People will do anything for attention," she said, "but I'm not going to let lies define me." Her tone carried both anger and exhaustion, as if she was done with the cycle but trapped inside it anyway. Fans watching her live session couldn't agree on what to believe. Some praised her strength, while others pointed out moments where her voice wavered, suggesting she was holding something back. Mendeecees, as always, chose silence. His refusal to make a statement only added to the chaos. People were begging for answers, but he seemed content to let the storm rage on without lifting a finger. Silence is an answer, one fan wrote, while another countered, maybe he's just letting everyone talk themselves in circles. His absence from the conversation was as loud as any statement he could have made, and it left both his supporters and critics restless. Behind the scenes, tensions were reportedly boiling. Whispers emerged that Sierra had reached out to Karlie, privately, demanding she stop spreading half-truths. The alleged exchange was described as explosive, with Sierra accusing Karlie of trying to destroy her reputation. Karlie, according to insiders, fired back that she was only exposing what everyone else was too scared to say out loud. If true, that private clash added another layer to the already tangled web of betrayal, rivalry, and resentment. The drama spilled into group gatherings, with friends and colleagues forced to pick sides. One insider revealed that at a recent dinner, the entire mood shifted when Sierra walked in. Some people immediately embraced her while others avoided eye contact, creating an invisible line down the middle of the room. It felt like a war zone without any actual fighting, the insider described. Every smile was fake, every laugh was forced, because nobody knew who was being honest anymore. Karlie, meanwhile, continued to play her role as the provocateur. She posted another cryptic message, this time saying, "Truth always comes to light, even if people try to hide it in the dark." Her followers ate it up, flooding her comments with questions, theories, and encouragement. But others began to call her out, accusing her of stirring chaos just for attention. "If you really have the truth, show it," one comment read, while another added, "This is just messy, and you're enjoying it too much." Fans weren't the only ones reacting. Families were being pulled into the whirlwind. Rumors spread that Mendeecees' partner at home was furious over the ongoing chatter. Some claimed she had confronted him, demanding clarity, while others suggested she had started pulling back emotionally, unsure how much of the story to believe. The whispers of domestic tension only added to the spectacle, painting the picture of a man trapped between loyalty and scandal. Sierra's family, too, wasn't immune. Sources close to her claimed that loved ones had urged her to step away from the spotlight until things calmed down. But stepping back wasn't an option, not when every headline had her name attached. She reportedly broke down during one phone call, telling a confidant, "I don't even know who to trust anymore." The image of her crying alone resonated with fans, making some double down on their defense of her. Through all of this, producers, behind the scenes, saw ratings skyrocketing. Every episode teaser promised more drama, more confrontations, and more revelations. The scandal wasn't just gossip anymore. It had become the main storyline, overshadowing everything else. Some insiders even claimed the producers encouraged the feud, nudging cast members to bring up the topic during filming, ensuring no conversation strayed too far from the scandal. Then came the shocking twist that nobody saw coming. An anonymous account dropped what it claimed were voice recordings, conversations that sounded eerily like Sierra and Mendeecees. The recordings weren't crystal clear, filled with background noise and muffled tones, but the voices were close enough to spark widespread debate. In one clip, a man's voice could be heard saying, "You know what this is? You knew from the start." In another, a woman's voice responded, "I didn't sign up for this kind of heat." Instantly, fans divided into two camps. Some argued the voices were unmistakably theirs, while others insisted the recordings were doctored. Hashtags exploded, with people analyzing the clips frame by frame, slowing them down, and even hiring self-proclaimed experts to authenticate them. It turned into a digital trial, with the public acting as judge and jury, though no verdict could ever be conclusive. Sierra denied the recordings outright, calling them fabricated lies. She doubled down on her stance, telling her followers, "People are going to desperate lengths to drag me down." Her supporters rallied behind her, but skeptics weren't convinced. "If it's fake, prove it," one critic said. "Where's the evidence that these aren't real?" Through it all, Mendeecees still said nothing. His silence was deafening, And with every day that passed, it seemed more like an admission than a strategy. Memes flooded the internet, mocking his quiet stance, while others pointed out that maybe he had no good options left. "Say something, and you're guilty. Say nothing, and you're guilty," one post read, capturing the impossible situation he found himself in. The emotional toll was visible. At a recent taping, cameras caught Sierra breaking down in tears after yet another confrontation. "I can't keep defending myself against things that aren't even real," she cried, her voice cracking with frustration. The moment quickly spread online, with fans debating whether her tears were genuine or a calculated move to win sympathy. Regardless of intention, it made headlines, further cementing her as the focal point of the entire scandal. And just when it seemed the noise couldn't get any louder, Karlie hinted that the so-called truth she was exposing wasn't even fully out yet. She suggested there was more evidence, more receipts, and more chaos waiting to be revealed. Her exact words, "Y'all think this is bad. Wait until you see what else I've got." The promise of yet another revelation was enough to send everyone into overdrive. What else could possibly be left? Were there more screenshots? More recordings? Or something even bigger that could shatter everything once and for all? The anticipation was unbearable, and once again, the entire storyline hung in the balance, teetering on the edge of another explosion that no one could predict. The drama reached a fever pitch when Karlie, true to her word, teased that what she had already shared was only a fraction of the full story. Her followers waited anxiously, refreshing her page every few minutes, convinced that she was about to detonate a bomb that would change everything. She posted a black screen with just 3 words, "Ready for more." It was simple, but it sent the internet into chaos. By now, the scandal had completely taken over social media. Fans created elaborate timelines, comparing alleged screenshots with real-life events, pulling up old interviews, and pointing to inconsistencies in everyone's stories. One particularly viral thread argued that Sierra and Mendeecees had been linked for far longer than anyone realized, piecing together clips and quotes from past seasons that seemed to support the theory. Whether accurate or not, the sheer dedication of fans turned speculation into something that looked dangerously close to fact. Sierra, exhausted and angry, tried once again to take control of the narrative. She sat down for another live, her face bare of makeup, her voice steady but tinged with frustration. "I am done with this circus," she declared. "I have told you all over and over that these lies are not true, but people want to believe drama instead of reality. If I was guilty of anything, I'd own it. But this is not me." Her words struck some fans as powerful, but skeptics pounced on every pause, every slip of tone, every fleeting moment of uncertainty. As Sierra tried to steady herself, Mendeecees finally resurfaced in public at an event. Cameras followed his every move, looking for clues in his behavior. He smiled, posed for photos, and acted as if the swirling storm around him didn't even exist. When a reporter tried to ask him about the rumors, he brushed it off with a quick laugh and said, "People gonna say what they want. I can't live my life worrying about every headline." His casual dismissal only made things worse. Fans accused him of arrogance, of showing no respect for the people dragged into the mess. Karlie seized the moment, claiming his nonchalant attitude proved she was right all along. "Of course he doesn't care," she told her followers during yet another live. "He thinks he can do what he wants and no one will call him out, but I will." The comments section exploded, with some praising her bravery and others condemning her for exploiting the situation. Whatever the reaction, the result was the same. Her name stayed in every conversation. Behind closed doors, insiders claimed the tension between the trio had reached unbearable levels. At a group filming, the 3 were forced into the same room, and the energy was so charged that people in the crew described it as suffocating. Sierra sat stiffly in her chair, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the floor. Mendeecees leaned back casually, scrolling on his phone, while Karlie smirked knowingly, clearly enjoying the discomfort. When the cameras rolled, the confrontation was explosive. Why? Are you dragging my name into this mess? Sierra snapped at Karlie, her voice trembling with rage. You know damn well I've done nothing to deserve this, Karlie shot back without hesitation. Done nothing. Girl, the proof is right in front of you. The only person you should be mad at is him, not me. She gestured toward Mendeecees, who barely looked up from his phone. Sierra's voice cracked as she shouted, You don't have proof. You've got gossip. You're destroying my life for clout. Karlie leaned forward, her tone ice cold. Clout doesn't cry when the truth comes out. The exchange left the room silent, except for Mendeecees finally muttering, This is ridiculous. His dismissive tone sparked gasps, and Sierra's face fell in disbelief. Ridiculous, she repeated softly, tears welling in her eyes. My life is falling apart and you call it ridiculous. The clip of that confrontation went viral within hours, becoming one of the most replayed moments of the season. Fans couldn't stop debating whose side to take. Some argued that Sierra's pain was genuine and she was a victim of manipulation, while others insisted Karlie wouldn't risk her credibility if she didn't have something real. And Mendeecees' refusal to take accountability only added to the confusion, leaving everyone wondering if he was guilty, indifferent, or simply trying to avoid feeding the fire. As if that wasn't enough, another anonymous leak surfaced, this time a short video clip. It was shaky, grainy, filmed from a distance, but it appeared to show two figures who looked eerily similar to Sierra and Mendeecees meeting late at night. The footage was far from conclusive, but the resemblance was close enough to convince half the internet. Within minutes, the video racked up millions of views, sparking headlines and reigniting debates. Sierra immediately denied it was her, calling the video another desperate attempt to frame me. She pointed out inconsistencies in the figure's appearance, insisting it didn't match her clothes or hairstyle at the time. But for many fans, the denial wasn't enough. It looks like her. It moves like her. It is her. One viral comment. Read. Others pushed back, saying, That could be anyone, and the quality is too poor to prove anything. Through it all, Sierra's closest allies began to distance themselves. Some stopped posting about her entirely, while others offered vague, lukewarm support. It was clear that even her inner circle was unsure of what to believe, and the isolation was starting to show. Karlie, on the other hand, doubled down, posting a series of laughing emojis after the video leaked, as if mocking the chaos unfolding. Mendeecees still refused to make a proper statement, and his silence turned into the centerpiece of the entire scandal. Fans begged him to clarify, to confirm or deny. But he stayed quiet, seemingly content to watch the two women battle it out. He's playing chess while they're playing checkers, one fan theorized. He doesn't have to say anything, because they're destroying each other. But behind the scenes, whispers suggested the silence wasn't strategy at all. It was fear. Insiders claimed he was worried that speaking might only expose him further, that any denial could be proven false if more receipts came to light. Whether true or not, the perception was enough to keep fans locked in, waiting for the next move. And just as the frenzy started to peak, Karlie posted again. This time, she didn't share a screenshot, a recording, or a video. Instead, she simply wrote, "Y'all haven't seen the real truth yet." The post was vague, cryptic, and terrifyingly effective. Everyone knew what that meant. There was still more to come. The tension surrounding the scandal had reached a breaking point, but instead of calming down, it only kept building. Every time people thought the situation couldn't get any worse, a new twist surfaced, dragging everyone back into the chaos. When Karlie hinted that the real truth hadn't been seen yet, fans knew another eruption was coming. Timelines filled with theories about what she could possibly have left to reveal. Sierra, meanwhile, was unraveling. Those close to her described sleepless nights, frantic phone calls, and an overwhelming sense of paranoia. She stopped attending public events, fearing every camera pointed her way would twist her image further. In one emotional outburst caught on film, she admitted, "I feel like my entire life is on trial, and I don't even know who the judge is anymore." It was a raw confession, one that showed just how deep the damage had cut. Mendeecees continued, his pattern of silence, but it was no longer working in his favor. The longer he stayed quiet, the more people assumed he had something to hide. "He's guilty by silence," one headline read, while another article speculated that his team was advising him to ride out the storm until the frenzy passed. Still, fans weren't letting up, tagging him relentlessly in posts demanding answers. The turning point came when Karlie finally revealed her next move. Instead of dropping another blurry screenshot or cryptic caption, she posted what looked like a full conversation thread. This time, the text was clear, names visible, timestamps intact. The messages appeared to show exchanges between Sierra and Mendeecees, filled with suggestive comments and late-night meetup plans. Within minutes, the screenshots went viral, spreading like wildfire across platforms. Immediately, the internet split down the middle. Supporters of Karlie argued that this was the smoking gun, the undeniable proof that she had been right from the start. Team Sierra fought back, claiming the texts could have been fabricated or altered. Hashtags flew back and forth, with fans launching into heated debates, each side convinced the other was blind to the truth. Sierra herself came forward quickly to deny the messages. Through tears in a shaky live session, she insisted, "Those texts are fake. People are trying to destroy me with lies, and I won't let them win." Her words were filled with emotion, but many couldn't help noticing how broken she looked. Some viewers sympathized, saying it was heartbreaking to watch her crumble, while others remained skeptical, convinced her performance was calculated. Karlie, unfazed by the backlash, doubled down. She went live too, her tone calm but cutting. "If I wanted clout, I'd have done this years ago," she said. "The truth is messy, but it's still the truth. People need to stop protecting the wrong ones." Her conviction resonated with a large portion of viewers, further cementing her role as both the villain and the hero of the saga, depending on who you asked. Mendeecees' silence became impossible to ignore. Whispers began circulating that his own household was on the brink of collapse, with arguments erupting behind closed doors over his refusal to address the situation publicly. Some insiders claimed his partner had given him an ultimatum: clear the air or face the consequences. But still, he remained publicly mute, watching as the women tore each other apart in the spotlight. The scandal also had ripple effects on careers. Sierra reportedly lost a major endorsement deal after the texts leaked, with the brand citing reputational concerns. For someone who had fought hard to build her professional image, it was a devastating blow. "They're taking food out of my kids' mouths with these lies," she vented privately, according to one insider. Fans couldn't get enough of the saga. Watch parties popped up online, with people analyzing every word, every post, every side. Glance caught on camera. It became more than gossip. It turned into a cultural event. And the deeper it went, the harder it became to separate fact from fiction. Then came the most explosive confrontation yet. During a taping, all three were forced into the same room again, with tensions boiling over almost instantly. Sierra, shaking with anger, turned to Mendeecees. "Say something, please. Clear my name. Tell them this isn't true." Her voice cracked, desperation bleeding through every word. He looked at her for a long moment before finally speaking. "I don't owe anybody explanations. Not you, not her, not them." His words sent shockwaves through the room. Sierra broke down sobbing while Karlie leaned back in her chair, arms folded, a satisfied smile on her face. The fallout was immediate. Clips of the confrontation spread online, fans dissecting every second. "He doesn't owe explanations" became a trending phrase, used to mock his arrogance and indifference. For Sierra, it was another public humiliation. For Karlie, it was a moment of vindication. And for fans, it was the ultimate climax in a scandal that had already given them more than enough. But even then, the story refused to die. Rumors swirled that there was yet another video, one so damaging it could shatter everything beyond repair. Some claimed Karlie had it. Others said an anonymous source was holding it back for leverage. Whether it existed or not didn't even matter. The idea alone kept fans hooked, desperate to see how far the scandal could go. As the dust settled, one thing became painfully clear. Trust had been shattered, reputations scarred, and friendships destroyed. Whether the receipts were real or fake no longer mattered, because the damage had already been done. The doubt was planted, and it could never fully be erased. And in the end, what remained was a wreckage of emotions, accusations, and broken ties. The scandal wasn't just a headline anymore. It was a legacy, one that would follow Ciara, Mendeecees, and Karlie long after the cameras stopped rolling and the fans moved on to the next big story. As the dust begins to settle, the question on everyone's mind is simple. What happens next? Ciara has been left shattered, her reputation torn apart by whispers, screenshots, and rumors that may never fully fade. Mendeecees has walked through the fire without giving the clarity fans begged for, and in his silence, he has created even more mystery. And Karlie, the one who lit the match, now stands in the middle of the chaos she exposed, both praised as a truth-teller and criticized as someone who thrives on drama. Families are divided, friendships have been burned, and fans are still replaying every moment in slow motion, trying to piece together what's real and what's not. Was Ciara truly targeted? Or did she step into something she couldn't control? Was Mendeecees manipulating the situation behind the scenes? Or simply caught in the middle of two women who refused to back down? And did Karlie expose the truth for justice? Or was it her way of securing the spotlight once again? What we know for sure is that this scandal has left a permanent mark on everyone involved. The betrayals, the accusations, the emotional breakdowns, all of it has made this one of the most unforgettable sagas we've seen play out. But the story doesn't end here, because the consequences of what's been revealed will continue long after the cameras stop rolling. Now we want to hear from you. Do you believe Karlie's receipts prove the truth? Or do you think Ciara is the victim of a ruthless setup? Was Mendeecees wrong to stay silent? Or was it the smartest move he could have made? Drop your thoughts in the comments because we know you've got opinions. If this story had you hooked, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next explosive update. Because if the whispers are true, this drama is far from over,